Hello and welcome back to Shakesyear. We are working on Troilus and Cressida, and we get to hear from Ulysses again today in Act 3, Scene 3. So in this scene, first there was a bit of a deal being brokered between Cressida's father and the Greeks that they are going to propose a trade of Cressida for this Trojan prisoner who's been captured in the Greek camp. So they've gone off to do that, and when they went off to do that, Achilles and Patroclus kind of came and stood in the door of Achilles' tent to find out what was going on, because they could hear that there was some sort of conversation. And Ulysses decided that now is the moment that they need to really mess with Achilles, because they want to knock him off of his high horse. He's making it difficult for them to actually get anything done that they want to get done in this war. So part of their plan is to have Ajax go fight Hector when that whole challenge is supposed to happen. But they do want to, sort of get in a few digs at Achilles along the way. So Ulysses was like, as you walk past him, don't even acknowledge him or acknowledge him disdainfully. So they do. They walk by and they barely even say hello to him. Ajax actually says hi to Patroclus, but not to Achilles. So Achilles yesterday was remarking to Patroclus that this is weird, and he understands how sometimes people fall out of fortune and fall out of favor, but they're usually a little bit aware of it, and it usually has something to do with like loss of money or lands or titles or that sort of thing. And he's like, but I still have all of my stuff that I had before, so I don't know why these men aren't bowing and scraping to me like they used to. He's like, Ulysses will probably know, because Ulysses is the last one to walk by, per Ulysses' plan. So he was like, hey Ulysses, what you reading there? And Ulysses is like, well, I'm reading this strange thing that says that people can't really boast about their own virtues, because the only way that they know that they have those virtues is by other people recognizing those virtues in them. And Achilles was like, no, that's not at all weird, because like beautiful people don't know that they're beautiful unless other people tell them that they're beautiful, or unless they look in a mirror and see that they're beautiful. Like there always has to be this external interaction in order for them to know. So he's like, no, that's not a weird thing that you're reading. It makes perfect sense. And Ulysses responds by saying, I do not strain it at the position. It is familiar, but at the author's drift, who in his circumstance expressly proves that no man is the lord of anything, though in and of him there is much consisting, till he communicate his parts to others. Nor doth he of himself know them for aught, till he behold them formed in the applause where they are extended, who, like an arch, reverberate the voice again, or like a gate of steel fronting the sun, receives and renders back his figure and his heat. I was much rapt in this, and apprehended here immediately the unknown Ajax. Heavens! What a man is there! A very horse that has he knows not what nature, what things there are, most abject in regard and dear in use, what things again most dear in the esteem and poor in worth. Now shall we see tomorrow an act that very chance doth throw upon him. Ajax renowned? Oh, heavens! What some men do, while some men leave to do. How some men creep in skittish fortune's hall, whiles others play the idiots in her eyes. How one man eats into another's pride, while pride is feasting in his wantonness. To see these Grecian lords, why, even already they clap the lubber Ajax on the shoulder as if his foot were on brave Hector's breast and great Troy shrinking. So Ulysses is using psychology on Achilles here. He's like, this whole thing makes sense. The point that this author is making makes sense, that we need to get stuff reverberated back at us. But he's like, I'm seeing that happen now to Ajax, because isn't Ajax amazing? And check it out, we're going to get to see him fight against Hector, and he's actually taking up that mantle when other people could have, but maybe aren't. He's laying it on a little bit thick there too, with some of his comparisons about what some men do and what other men do. They're very pointed remarks at Achilles, that, you know, Ajax is stepping up here and you are very not stepping up here. But he's putting it all in terms of like, look at Ajax, isn't he great how he does all this stuff that other men won't do and don't do? And you know, if we're going to talk about somebody's ego growing, all of the Greeks are 100% behind Ajax. They're all clapping him on the back as if he's already won. Like, what is this going to do to his ego? And Achilles is like, yeah. And then I noticed that when everybody just walked past me just now, they all looked at me weird and like didn't acknowledge me. They were all treating me very strangely. I wonder what that's about. And Ulysses is going to have another monologue tomorrow to get a little bit further into that. So we'll see you then. Mwah.